Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni, the great Malabite. Action.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Where you have Malabites, there's action, right? That's what we need to do.
Totally
Good morning,
agree.
Ayo.
Good morning.
I don't feel lonely.
I'm feeling lonely too, if you were to be honest, but I'll take it.
Yes. We start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, Fubara's men Upstage Martin Amaewhule elect Victor Oko-Jumbo new speaker. New assembly head nullifies actions of ex-speaker, asks governor to stop dealing with them. PDP blasts APC over impeachment threats against Rivers governor. Insists state lawmakers illegal before law. Elders advise assembly members to wait for court judgment. Well, the Rivers situation will continue to grab the headlines with one move today by one segment. I don't want to call them faction now. Another move by the other side. But the courts are there to decide cases. When persons have approached the courts to intervene in matters, I think they should allow the court to have the final say. But again, this is politics because some of the interventions in the past, the meeting with the president where a resolution was signed by all parties, supposedly, well, it's not legal as it were. Rather, it was a political solution. But where political solution cannot find a cure to a political ailment, then the other arm of government that should solve the problem should be the judiciary. So all persons involved in this matter should allow the courts to have the final say in who is what. Yes, everybody, Ruben, can quote the Constitution, right? But everybody is not a lawyer. So we'll just wait and see how the courts will eventually. But it is also very important that there should be peace in Rivers State, that the situation should not degenerate to the extent that there is anarchy in Rivers State. Because if there's anarchy in one state, then it can affect the nation. Of course, as we saw in the First Republic, right? Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper also has that story as its lead. Rivers crisis deepens. Fubara bars all local government area heads, officials from appearing before Rivers Assembly. Local government chairman accused governor of withholding allocation. APC desperate to annex Rivers PDP, making that allegation. Insists 27 PDP defectors to APC no longer lawmakers. Task IGP to act on subversive actions. But another story on the front page of Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Soldiers pull out of Okwama. Oborowori Lords Tinubu army over withdrawal. Well, it's the right thing to do. You cannot hold innocent people, push them into the forest and allow them to stay there. Go after the culprits, those who killed Nigerian soldiers. Yes, that should be done. Pursue them where you think they are hiding. But not to put a whole community under the kind of situation the people, the good people of Okwama in Ewurobo Kingdom have been subjected to, where many of them were living in the forests. And some have died out of hunger, snake bite, and diseases. So, well, the soldiers have pulled out while the quest, the search, the pursuit of the persons who carried out that dastardly act of killing 17 Nigerian soldiers should continue. And when they are apprehended, they should be brought to book. There's no debate about that. The Guardian newspaper, inflation, major determination of living wage negotiation, says NLC. Yes, I think that should be factored into the negotiation. That we should do some calculation. When the last minimum wage was approved some years ago, what was the rate of inflation between then and now? Perhaps adding to the mix, what was the value of the naira? And you do some calculation, you will arrive at what many can call fair wage, living wage, that will match up with the times where Nigerians are now faced with the pandemic of the empty pocket, where take-home pay cannot take workers through the month. Now, the Business Day newspaper, Cocoa Rush, farmers revive old trees amid price surge. Nigeria's cocoa farmers are racing to plant more high-yielding seedlings to replace old trees while expanding their growing areas after a six-fold jump in prices this year. Well, it's only in Nigeria we abandon crops, resources that have helped this country in the past just because there's oil. Why are people just rushing to plant more trees now? You expect those states where cocoa is part of the cocoa growing belt, the Southwest, Cross River, and others, to make the expansion of cocoa farms a continuous process, helping farmers to grow more cocoa plantation, so that in times of price surge like this, the country will benefit. Cocoa was once the major earner for the country, especially for the Western region, where cocoa money was used to do so many things. Free education, the building of Cocoa House in Ibadan, once the tallest building in Nigeria. So good one for cocoa farmers. With the surge in the price of cocoa in the international market. Well, of course, I know a number of cocoa business persons, my people in Benin and Calabar. I know they will be also smiling to the bank with the surge in the price of cocoa in the international market. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, insecurity, why federal government must review de-radicalization program, retired General DSS Director insists on ex-combatant must be prosecuted. We have been abandoned by elected politicians, their appointees, Niger villagers. Banditry, kidnapping affecting school enrollment in Kaduna State. Governor Sani himself making that statement. So, yes, I remember, Ruben, a couple of times, or a number of times, you have talked about this idea of gathering some people and you call them repentant, repentant terrorists. Give them ashebi, give them some jollof rice, some pepper soup. People who should be facing the law for criminality, having killed people, displaced people, destroyed people's farms, kidnapped school children. You come and say they are repentant and you want to de-radicalize them. It's not that easy. And we saw how some so-called repentant terrorists recently attacked police stations, attacked other facilities. If we just go to the Daily News of Zimbabwe, let's start from that. ZEC, petition to adopt technology. Yes, the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, they are talking about adopting technology, electronic voting, for their elections. And Ruben, guess where they are getting their inspiration from? The chairperson of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, Priscilla Chigumba, and some members of parliament on the Foreign Affairs Committee, they were in Russia to observe the Russian election. And that's where they are getting their inspiration from. But it's not a laughing matter, Ruben, because some of the ideas they are coming up with, they are saying, amongst other suggestions, that the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission should consider recording, documenting through use of video surveillance, right? It's voting, counting of votes, and result establishing processes. I'm sure if you adopt that, that will also help. We did something like that, of course, without glitches, Ruben.
Yes.
Ruben and Ayo.
Anyway, I think we've run out of time.
Yes.
But thank you for the newspaper review.